Woohoo! I think we're live. Here we go. Welcome to the Roman Castro vlog, guys. This is our first live stream, and I'm excited to have you guys here. We're going to be talking about answering your questions and giving you guys shout outs as a big thank you for being awesome subscribers. So, the goal for this video is to see if we can capture the exact moment when we go into the 500 subscriber range. So, stay tuned. All right, guys, that was cool. That's as you can see, I went all out and I set up the little studio here at the. This is actually my podcast recording setup, and I went all out and set up this like crazy software to allow me to do all kinds of cool different features. So since the goal of today is to get you guys, is to answer you guys' questions and hang out with you guys and build that community. One of the goals for today is also to get into the 500 subscriber range. So before we do that, let's see where we're currently at. And we're currently at, we are currently at 493 subscribers. So this is a live metric that actually, as people subscribe, this number will change. So we'll be able to see it happen live during this broadcast, hopefully. So yeah, let's see. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna tell you guys a little bit about the channel. If you guys are new to the channel, while we wait for people to jump into the chat, hopefully people will jump into the chat. I don't even know. I don't even know how this works. I'm not sure if people will get notifications. Anyway, let's go on with that. So for now, oh, I just dropped a subscriber. Ah! So there you go. That's what happens. That's actually live. Somebody actually just unsubscribed from my channel. Wah, that sucks. But anyway, that's how it goes. All right. So let's see. Let's do the So that's what it is. So we're gonna do yeah. So bear with me, guys. This is my first ever live broadcast, and I'm nervous and excited to do it. But at the same time, it's like a lot of moving parts. So first of all, for those of you guys that don't know me, my name is Roman Castro. I do a lot of videos and mostly vlogs about stuff I do here in San Diego with the family, or out on the water enjoying the awesome San Diego weather and being so close to the ocean. So I do videos about fishing. I do videos about kayak fishing. I do videos about spear fishing. I do videos about free diving. There we go. We got one more subscriber. We're back on the board to where we started. 493. Okay. What was I saying? Yeah, kayak fishing, spear fishing, free diving, just shore fishing, just all kinds of fun stuff and adventures. And I shoot most of my videos kind of vlog style. And yeah, I only share stuff that I feel is going to be entertaining to you guys as my viewers, or that's going to teach you something. So you always have that little bit of value when you watch some of my videos. I don't want to waste your time, right? So anyways, I don't want to waste your time. So today, if you guys want to get on here and ask some questions, I'll pop them up on the screen and we'll answer those questions for you guys. That'll be kind of fun. Let's see. This whole setup, actually, this microphone is part of my podcasting setup. So let me give you guys a little bit of a background into who I am and like how I got started in this whole broadcasting world. I didn't just buy a mic and start making videos and stuff. So I moved to San Diego back in 2008 with my girlfriend at the time, and who's now my wife. And we actually started. She wanted to go on a vacation to Maui. This is like in 2010, 2011, and I was not water oriented at all. I was kind of afraid of the water, actually, kind of afraid of the ocean. So, but I figured since we're going to Maui, I might as well learn to do something in the water because the water in Maui was going to be so nice. So she wanted me to try scuba. I was afraid of scuba and I didn't want to do scuba. So I did the next safest thing I thought I could find, which was like snorkeling. I know it sounds dumb now, but that's what I decided to learn. I decided to learn to snorkel. So I was super afraid of like sucking water into the snorkel and stuff. But I bought like a mask, snorkel, and fins, and I learned how to snorkel in our apartment complex pool. I was like the weird guy with the snorkel in the pool. What's up, Psychotic Edits? Yes, we have a live person on the chat. Thanks for jumping on here, Psychotic Edits. I'm telling the story of how I even got into making videos. So at that time, when I just met my fiance, we met my then girlfriend. We moved in together and we were living at a place, and she wanted to go to a vacation in Maui before we got married and everything. So in preparation for doing that, I taught myself how to snorkel right off the internet or whatever. And then once I felt comfortable with the mask and the fins and breathing through the snorkel, we decided to go for some snorkeling adventures out of La Jolla, and we kind of just snorkel around the shallow parts of La Jolla, the cove where it's like a protected area and you can see all kinds of cool fish. And during some of those outings, you have that urge to like maybe dive down and see more things up close. So after that first couple of sessions, I started looking into free diving, and I didn't even know what's called free diving. I started looking into how to get down while snorkeling, and then that popped up free diving, and then free diving evolved into me discovering spearfishing, and then discovering that spearfishing was a big there was a big community of spearfishermen here in San Diego. So when that happened, right? That's yeah. You just gotta keep learning, psychotic edits. Thanks for being on the chat. So actually, guys, now that we have some people in the chat, and by some people I just mean psychotic edits because he's the only one in there. We're gonna pop up the chat window up here so you guys can see what he's typing, and that way you guys can go follow him and get some followers yourselves. So here we go. Let's see, which one is it? There we go. Chat 2. Boom. Okay, there you are. Boom. Yeah. Okay. All right. There you go. Psychotic Ed. So whatever you type in is going to pop up on the screen right here. And if you guys want to join the chat, go to romancastro.com/live, and whatever you type into that chat will pop up here on the screen. So yeah, cool. And then we're going to pop up the subscriber count. Ooh, let's see, subscriber count. There it is. So our current subscriber count is 493, and don't follow me. Nice. Nice. Cool. All right, guys. So let's go on with the story. So I discovered free diving and discovered the whole community of spearfishermen here in San Diego, and I got so into it. Oh, so that was like right before our Maui trip. So by the time we went on our Maui trip, I was super stoked on free diving and spearfishing that I booked a spearfishing tour in Maui, and we went out. I shot my first fish, and I was so hooked. And actually, the cool part about it was that my fiance went with the spearfishing. She didn't have a spear gun or anything, but she had she used my little flip cam at the time, and she actually recorded me shooting my first fish, which was super cool. So when I got back, I was super stoked and super excited to be in the sport, and I wanted to learn more and more. That I started posting on like forums and stuff. But as you know, some forums get kind of mean and stuff, so I kind of got discouraged from posting on forums after like being so stoked. And wanted to share my spearfishing adventures, that I decided to just put up a blog about it. So I started Spiro blog, and that Spiro blog, I basically would type up a post whenever I learned something new about the sport. So one thing, I just kept adding things to the Spiro blog, and next thing you know, like people that were newer than me were finding those posts and learning a little bit from them. So that's kind of how that went. And then from there, it got to the point where that website was getting a lot of traffic, and I thought it was cool, and I thought I could maybe expand on it more. And I just started to add more things as I was learning them. And then I also joined a local freediving group, a local spearfishing group, and learned a ton from the people in the club, and actually became their webmaster and did their website for three or 4 years, and I was even the president of the club for a year. And this is a spearfishing club. So learned a ton from the guys there. And while I was there, I wanted to figure out a way to share that experience with people from my blog. So I started so I started to think of ways that I could get more information and more knowledge out of these people that were like super cool, and they were super cool with sharing it. I wanted to extend that to my audience. So what I ended up doing was I started and one of the other things about that was that I was super afraid of like public speaking, and just was fumbling a lot. Now I feel like I'm a lot better, but back then I was like terrible. So I ended up challenging myself by starting a podcast. So I started a podcast. It's called The Spear Podcast, and it's on iTunes and Stitcher and Google Play. It's all over the place. It's actually an interview-based podcast where I interview spearfishermen from. At first, it was just my local guys here in the club. And then I started expanding, and then it's like now it's pretty much with Skype, you can interview anybody all over the world. So I am currently at 78 episodes on the Spear Podcast, and it's just like boomed. And from there, having the podcast, I got to meet a ton of people in spearfishing and just like in the industry, and started to go on some pretty fun, exciting spearfishing trips. So part of going on those spearfishing trips, which is I wanted a way to share those spearfishing trips with the people that were following me from the original Spearo blog and from the podcast. I wanted to take those people along with me on these fun adventures that maybe they haven't had a chance to go on. Anyways, it was just like the next logical step for me was to add video. So that's when I started this vlog, and the vlog kind of takes us into a little bit of the behind the scenes of the guy that runs the Spear podcast, which is me. And then anyway, so that's how the vlog got started. That's how this vlog got started. So yeah, that's it. Now I guess we can take more questions if you guys have any questions, pop them up. Otherwise, we're just gonna keep going. Let's see, so this is so crazy to be able to talk here live and let's see what we have here. Oh, perfect. Yeah, thanks for reminding me. This is good. Thanks for reminding me. Okay, so from after the spearfishing and everything, the spearfishing world is a really tight group. It's really small. It's a small niche. So I thought part of the spearfishing journey that I've been on was to have more access to the water and to get on the water with a kayak. So I started to look for a kayak I could use to basically get me out to the kelp where I could shoot bigger fish while freediving, while spearfishing. And one of the kayaks, and a lot of the kayaks that were on the market just weren't designed for spearfishing, right? And even the kayak I have now is not designed for spearfishing, but it has a nice hatch right in the center where I can put all of my spear gun and fins and all that stuff. So here's what I did to get the kayak. I went to the shop and I brought my spear gun minus the spear, so I can see how long it was, and my long freediving fins. And I took them into the shop and I asked the guy, hey, I want to know which kayak is going to allow me to get through the surf, and with all my stuff inside the hull, in case I get rolled, I don't lose anything. And then once I'm out there, I'll be able to open the hatch without having to get off the kayak and pull everything out and put it on. So ended up being the Jackson 13.5, Jackson Kraken 13.5, and it's a kayak I use now. But at that point, since I had invested the money into like the nice kayak, and it had all of the pretty much it's almost set up for fishing, I went ahead and started to pursue that fishing aspect of kayak, the fishing aspect, the hook and line aspect of fishing. I already had like some basic rods and reels from our spearfishing days because sometimes we go out paddy hopping, and when you go out paddy hopping, you can see a paddy, you can come up on it, and you can actually cast and try to fish a hook and line first, and get some bites that way because it's probably better, easier to get more fish that way than it is to jump in the water and shoot them. But there's always that case where you can see the fish, or you don't get any bites, and you think the fish are there, and you just get in, right? So you hook and line fish them first, and then if you don't get any bites or if there's nothing there, then you just jump in and see if there's something there with your actual eyes. And if there's something there, sometimes you'll see some nice fish and just kind of shoot them, put them on the boat, and that means that you're getting fish on the boat, right? So that's how I got into the kayak fishing piece. I had all the gear because of the spearfishing stuff, and then bad weather means low visibility, which means no diving. Also, it's kind of I try to dive with a partner all the time, and sometimes I can't get a partner to dive with. So on those days, I can go out on the kayak. And actually, lately I've been super into the kayak fishing portion of it. I've been super stoked on it. It's just fun to catch all those fish and not get wet, I guess, sometimes. But then also I feel the frustration of not being able to jump in the water and just get something if I drop it, for example, right? So yeah, that's how I got into kayak fishing. And it's a learning process, man. I've been researching a ton and talking to people that are good fishermen, and it's just like everything else. You have to put in the time, and you have to be willing to learn and just maybe sometimes just. And I like to talk a lot, but sometimes I just gotta shut my mouth and let other people talk, and then they're gonna share some knowledge with you. That's the other thing with me. It's like I feel super open about sharing fishing information and that kind of stuff. And I know it's kind of frowned upon. What's up? Let's see. Oh, I'm seeing some people. Oh yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Welcome onto my first live stream, guys. This is so funny. This is cool. We're talking about kayak fishing, how I got into kayak fishing. Uh, Perfect. I just got a. Sorry, it's a little bit. Oh, perfect. All right. So Psycho Edits just got a Hobie, dude. I love that Hobie. I tried as some of the videos showed. I tried that Pro Angler 12. It's so nice. It is so nice. Oh, nice. Thanks. So the that Pro Angler 12, it is sick. Like, yeah. So after I fished on that thing, I went back to fishing on Mike Jackson, and like it sucked having to use my hands my hands to paddle. No, it's not that fancy, but it's super stable. Like I've I can stand up on on my Jackson now, but it has a little bit of roll in it where you feel kind of gotta help you out back and oh, nice, nice. So yeah, if I was Uncle Moneybags over here asking, no, no, I think I'm trying to figure out a way to maybe get a Hobie and because anyway, so the reason I would get a Hobie now would be because the hull design, like from the back, you can tell it's kind of like has that catamaran feel, so it feels more stable. And sorry, I'm trying to figure out what the chats are doing over here, guys. All right, cool. There it goes. Oh, nice. Yeah, the Jackson Cuda is nice. But yeah, for kayaks that I've actually been on, so I've only actually been on the Jackson 13.5, which is what I own, and the Hobie Pro Angler 12. I'm gonna if fishing was my only sport, I would probably go for the Pro Angler 12. But since I also use my kayak for spearfishing, it's I gotta have that hatch in the middle where I put all my stuff in the center console and I can access it while I'm on the water. Otherwise, I'd probably go with the Pro Angler. So that's my thing. I'll probably lost 350. Exactly, right? That sucks. That sucks. Yeah, rod leashes. Last time somebody gave me some flack on one of my videos because I had rod leashes on my rods, even though I was on a super calm lake. It's a $10 leash that's gonna save me from losing a what is it? What $250 setup? Oh yeah, rod leashes all the way. Even if it is not cool, I'm gonna always rock my rod leashes. Anyway, so for the Hobie, I think it'd be I like how I was able to stand up on it, and I was like I was on it stably casting and retrieving and making retrieves, while boats were passing by and like the wakes were coming over. So it was pretty stable. I've been kind of practicing standing up on my Jackson 13.5, and it's been kind of weird. I feel it feels unstable. I just got to get used to it, I guess. But still, if I had the budget, I'd probably get a Pro Angler 12, so I can take out. I saw this guy with a Pro Angler 12 while we were out there, and he had his daughter like in a in like a little lawn chair on the back of his kayak, and she was just sitting there reading while he was on the water fishing. That was super cool. So that's something I like to do with the kids. What if there was a way to tow something that floats? Yeah, that's true. That's true. We could tow something, but on the I think on the Hobie, I'd probably yeah I'd want it specifically for fishing. It was just a lot easier to fish on the Hobie for sure, and with the how wide it is, just all the real estate, I'd like totally rig it up with like lights, like with like video lights and a couple of. I'm doing 2 cameras now on my setup, but I'll probably do 3 cameras and definitely some lights to fish at night, which would be super fun. I'm probably gonna do that with mine anyway, but I feel more comfortable doing that on the Hobie Pro Angler 12. I'd even feel comfortable enough on the Hobie 12 to take out my full DSLR. So this guy, I feel comfortable bringing this guy on board. Not so much on the Jackson because every time you paddle, you're kind of dripping water onto the scene. So that's what's up. Let's see. Any other questions? Just pop them up, and then maybe you can create something solid. Yeah, it's true. It's true. So cool, cool, cool. Yeah, this is crazy. So yeah, any questions? Pop them up. I'm just kind of like uh, trying to figure out how to do this live streams thing still. Um, So yeah, we're currently at 493 subscribers. My goal is to get to 500 subscribers. And if you guys want to do me a favor of sharing it out, that would be cool and help me get to that goal. I'm not sure if it's gonna happen during this live stream. It's so uh, weird. I feel so kind of I feel a little bit nervous about being live and not being able to edit my videos. So it's a whole different learning curve for me here. What is your streaming software? I'm using OBS. It's a free software. I'm running it on a Windows machine, and it gives me the ability to create all these cool little banners and stuff and floating around and having the chat here and having this. This is actually updates automatically. So if you go and subscribe, it'll bring the count up, and that way we'll know if we made that 500 subscriber count. Woo! All right, and then I can do cool things, kind of like I guess a lot of people use this for sharing games and streaming like their gameplay. But I figured if what I'm doing is not as intense, but the software looks nice and I can do a lot of things with it. I was actually thinking of investing into like a piece of hardware that would let me stream multiple cameras into one interface, so I can do like a video version of my podcast. And I think that was like $1,000. So I think I just saved a ton of money by discovering this OBS software. Um, oh, cool! Yeah, that's right. You can use desktop recording. I've been doing desktop recording just as a test to see how this thing was going to work out, and it looks pretty decent. Let's see. Chat, subscribe. Okay, cool. Making sure everything's in place. All right. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So I don't know. Like, how did you guys get a notification when it popped up? I'm not sure how. I hope you guys got a notification when it popped up. Awesome. Awesome. That's funny. Cool. All right. So, oh, nice. That's cool. My phone dinged and saw YouTube. Oh, that's cool. Yes, that's awesome. Cool. So, Psycho Edits, how long have you been fishing? How long have you been kayak fishing? I think you just got your kayak. And then if you're not, and then you should follow Jimmy. Jimmy's raw fishing in the same chat. He's got a ton of videos, and all his videos are. Oh, what's up, Dan? Hey, Dan. Hope I'm doing you proud. I am actually doing a live stream, and it's kind of nerve wracking, but I'm getting by it. I'm doing this. So your chats are here. Whatever you type into the chat will pop up for everybody else to read. And this is the current subscriber count. We're trying to get to 500. Let's see. Let me read your comment. Let's see, on the other computer and have you on this one. Oh, cool. Tracking a helicopter chasing a trick truck. Yeah, that's awesome. Guys, Dan does some awesome stuff. He produces sports shows, and he is awesome. He actually gave me some a sweet headset from like I don't know what year are those headsets, Dan? Because those headsets look old, but I'm gonna rock them at the. How would it go? I had it over here somewhere. He gave me some cool broadcaster headsets from like the old sportscaster days, and I'll be using those for the live stream from the World Freshwater Spearfishing Championships, which I'll do next week. Actually, oh yeah, let's talk about that. I got my first halibut 2 days ago. Oh, that's cool. Psycho Edits. What weight was it, or what length was your first halibut? That's so awesome. That's so awesome. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Oh, nice. Okay, sorry, 2001. But they're still they work. I tested both of them out. They work through my mixer. So I'm gonna have two headsets going, and I'll be talking to some of the participants of the tournament, and I'm gonna broadcast that on Spiro TV. So spirotv.com, guys, for those of you guys that are interested in that kind of stuff. So, guys, next week I have the whole week off. I'm taking the whole week off, and it's gonna be a pretty intense week. I'm gonna try to do a video every day, a vlog every day, and I don't have measuring. Oh, nice. Cool, dude. All right. Well, make sure you also got to make sure those halibut are legal halibuts. They got to be 22 inches in California. I'm not sure where you're at, but congrats on the first halibut. Nice. And I know a lot of people are catch and release, and I catch and release too. But if it's a legal halibut, I'm taking that thing. I love halibut. It tastes so good. Dan's actually pretty good at spearing halibut, so maybe I'll go with him soon. All right. So next week I will be taking the whole week off of work, so that I can cover the first ever freshwater spearfishing championships. They're gonna be at a Lake Mead, and perfect at Lake Mead. It's fun. It's freshwater. It's a crazy experience. It's the actual tournament days are the 18th and the 19th, and they actually will be competing to get striper bass on the 18th, and then carp on the 19th, which would be cool. And then on the 20th, which is a Saturday, I'll be doing a live stream with the Spiro TV channel where I'll be covering the full-on um, presentation of the awards, and then we're gonna have some guest speakers like Terry Moss. It's gonna be super fun. And then I'm gonna try to get some of the competitors to join me on the right next to me with the broadcaster headsets that Dan hooked it up with, and let's see how that goes. It'll be kind of fun. My little sports show, I guess you could say. So that's gonna be that'll be all of next week. And the reason it's all of next week is because on the 15th, on Monday, it's gonna be like the new diver intros and like the meetings and all that stuff. And then the 16th and 17th are gonna be the scouting days, like the pre-diving days. So I'll be able to like be on the boat with all these different cool, awesome spear fishermen. And these are all like, all right, Dan, thanks for jumping on here. This is cool. All those people will be competing basically, and those 2 days will be scouting. And I'll be running around with them, kind of making vlogs and going underwater and shooting video and stuff. You guys, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be super fun. And then tonight, I'm going over to East County Bait and Tackle. They have one of their first night. It's their first nighttime bass fishing tournament. It's actually on full-on boats and stuff. I'm not actually fishing it. I'm just gonna run around with a camera and get my perspective of it. So that's gonna be kind of cool. Yeah, dude, carp gets get huge. So a long time ago when I was I think it's 2014, I participated in the I guess nationals in the freshwater spearfishing nationals, which is also at Lake Mead, that lake we're going to. And I got the biggest carp of the tournament. That was super cool. That was like my first ever win at one of these tournaments. So that was fun. But yeah, the carp get huge. And then so yeah, it's gonna be a fun week. And tonight's gonna be the East County Bait and Tackle nighttime bass fishing tournament. And then I'm gonna do a little bit of coverage on that. And that vlog will be out tomorrow. And then from there, Sunday I'll probably go fishing, do some Mother's Day stuff with my wife, and then after that, it's a road trip time, right? It's road trip to get on the road and get out to Lake Mead and get situated before the big week. Oh, the carp was like, I don't know, 36 pounds, and I won basically a plaque, a plaque for the biggest carp of the event. So yeah, no money. It was just like just spearfishing, right? So yeah, that's the other thing I noticed, guys. Like in spearfishing, the world of spearfishing is still kind of small. So going from the world of spearfishing to fishing, it's so crazy. It's so many. Colby, what's up? Welcome, buddy. Fish the slips in the harbor. Oh, nice. Oh yeah, there's so many fish in there. Are we talking about carp still? No new spear. No, LOL, no new spear. I'm not sure what that means, Jimmy. I think it's are you asking about the spear podcast? Cool. Oh, how big is the spear? All right. Anyway, we'll figure it out. Guys. We'll figure it out. Fish the slips in the harbor. Yeah, definitely. Those we're talking about Lake Mead, because in Lake Mead there's tons of those carp in the harbor, but I just don't think you can fish them for some reason. Didn't win at least the spear. Oh no, I see. I got it. Just want some like promotional discounts and stuff on like some shops and stuff and some T-shirts and that kind of stuff. I didn't actually win the tournament. I just happened to get the biggest fish. It was me and my partner. I think total fish count for me was like 30, 38, 37, and my partner got like 26, and so it was a teamed event. And then, but the people that won, they got like 192 a piece. So it was like crazy numbers. You should have seen, like, while we were doing the weigh-ins, they basically were loading these huge like pallets with like crushed ice into like a 16-wheeler or 18-wheeler into 18-wheeler. And they were basically just packing those things with carp, just a bunch of carp bodies everywhere. And I guess they take those out and make them into like cat food and dog food, or like they add it to dog food and cat food. But that was the only way, like they must have taken so many pounds of like carb that day. I think it's gonna be just the same this time around. So it's gonna be pretty fun. Anyway, so at this event, there's gonna be like 20 different countries represented, and it's gonna be a fun event. So anyway, I'll get off that soapbox for a second. Let's see, Colby, San Diego Harbor. So I think I covered what we did with the fish we spear. We donated them to a company that makes cat food and dog food, and they sent 18-wheeler refrigerated with pallets of ice, and like they were just kind of loading them up into those pallets as we were counting the points. That's what we'll do this time too. Um, let's see, San Diego Harbor. Yeah, I haven't fished San Diego Harbor. I went, so the day after I got my personal best, Sandy, or like, sorry, spotted bay bass in Mission Bay. I was feeling all confident and stuff, and I went to San Diego Bay. And it was super windy, and I just like couldn't do it. I couldn't even catch a single fish. I kept losing lures and stuff. I think I lost like two or three of like the nicer war baits jigs that I kind of like, and I was like, all right, I'm done with this. Um, there's a lot more of those clams and stuff on the rocks in San Diego Bay, and it's less forgiving if you cast into like the rocks and like try to pull your lure through it. Those little clams will just kind of snip your line. It's super easy to get your line snipped. And then it was too windy for me to like maneuver on the kayak to fish on the docks. So I called it, and I kind of just came home defeated, skunked, and with less lures. So yeah. Are you fishing this weekend? Oh, sorry, next weekend. Colby, next weekend, on the 21st, it's a Sunday. Salty Crew is doing a tournament right there out of the Fast Lane kayaks, I think. So, are you doing that? Oh, I know. I want a boat, dude. It's not. Yeah, I wish I had a boat. That'd be so awesome. I should get a boat. Yeah, it's it's uh it's kind of a hassle to put it in the water and everything, but I would definitely be stoked to have a boat. I just can't afford it at the moment. The We can't even get to 500 subscribers yet, so it's kidding. I've stopped doing the mission and I started fishing SD Bay because I have more luck out there. Yeah, that's a good assessment. Psychotic edits. That's a good assessment. It's just, yeah, you're exposed more. But I think if I went early in the morning, like I should have in the first place, yeah, like a 16-foot skiff, that'd be cool. If I went earlier in the morning when it's not so windy, I have some spots in San Diego San Diego Bay that I like that I know have fish, at least that I've caught fish on before. Um, the thing is, you gotta get in there early, and there's not that many places. I guess there is more places to launch from, but Mission Bay is like so easy. You can launch from any beach. It's there's not as many crazy rocks, I guess, that could jack up your setup, but it's, San Diego Bay is a lot bigger. There's a lot more depth changes for sure. Like Mission Bay is pretty much seems to be between like 8 feet to like 11 feet the whole bay. So that's kind of cool because if you catch a drop off, it's even if it's a 2 or 3 foot drop off, it's significant relative to the whole bay, right? So that's a good place to fish. That's the other thing, guys. Like if you guys want to ask fishing questions and stuff, even for you guys that are here local in San Diego, I'm willing to share whatever. Like I understand that in the fishing world, sharing a spot is a no-no, but it's not the whole story, right? So if when you see somebody catch a big fish, or you hear about somebody catch a big fish, what's the first thing you want to ask? You want to ask, oh yeah, what did you catch it on, right? Which is, yeah, it's a good question, but that's still not the whole story, right? So here's the stuff you want to ask about. Like you want to ask about, yeah, what they caught it on, of course, where they caught it, and those are the two things they probably won't want to tell you, especially the spot. But you could find the spot or like figure out a similar spot based on other factors. So you can ask them, right, what depth they were at when they caught that, like what structure was around, was it current, was it bright and sunny, was it windy, was it cloudy, was it raining? All that stuff is probably a better indicator of like where to find fish and how you can find fish than asking what lure they used, right? Um, you can have the best lures, the best. So the way I think of fishing at this point, guys, is like photography, right? I don't have the best cameras in the world, but I do have some cameras, and having a cheap camera or a super awesome camera doesn't mean you're gonna get the right picture, right? You gotta be at the spot where that scene is happening in order for you to capture a nice photo. So the same thing for fishing, right? You can have like a super awesome rod setup. People are too focused on what the lure. Exactly. Most sport fishings are predators, and they will hit almost anything. Exactly, and that's exactly where I was going to. So you can have the lure is not as important as being around the fish, right? If the fish aren't seeing your lure, then you can have a super sweet lure, and it's super expensive and awesome, and but if there's no fish around, then you're not going to get any bites, of course, right? So so yeah, Jimmy makes a good point. I think he beat me to the punch, which is good. So you saw where I was going. Anyway, so in photography or like in anything else, like hunting, right? You just got to be prepared, and you gotta be ready to take your opportunity when you do have the shot or when you do find the fish. And that's the other thing, like especially for the San Diego guys. If you guys are fishing the bay, I've dove San Diego Bay and Mission Bay. Actually, no, I haven't dove San Diego Bay. Actually, I take that back. I've dove Mission Bay a ton for halibut, and I know, right. And I don't shoot sand bass or calicos or spotted bay bass, but I see them all the time. And when I do see them, I see them in the eelgrass, right? And it could be in the eelgrass as shallow as like 4 feet, or it could be deep in the eelgrass like at 20 feet, right? There's sections of San Diego of Mission Bay that get that deep, believe it or not. So here's some advice for you guys that are fishing for calicos and for like spotted bay bass and sand bass, right? The they'll be in the transitions between sand and 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 eelgrass. So um, what I do when I'm underwater is I will dive because that's the same place where the halibut would hide to ambush, right? So there's a there's a we'll just pretend there's like a grass line, and on that side is sand, and that side is grass. We'll pretend that the chat thing is the grass is over here, and where I'm at, that's the sand. Okay, so what the halibut will do and what the sand bass will do, all those fish, they'll point themselves like this, like my finger, and their head will be either poking out or just about to poke out of the eelgrass, and they're waiting for something to swim by here, either this way so they can jump and get it, or above or across. What I do when I'm hunting these fish or when I'm hunting for halibut is I'll do my dive and I'll swim over the eelgrass like right here, and I'll look that way. That way I can see if there's a halibut here, and they won't see me coming this way because they're usually facing that way. So when I do find fish, oh, what's up, Curtis? Yeah, nice to see you, buddy. Hey, Dine, nice to see you. Welcome to my channel. If you guys don't know who I am, I'm Rama Castro. I do a vlog about things to do in San Diego: spearfishing, fishing, freediving, kayak fishing, and fishing, and other random things like cool places to eat and have fun while you're visiting San Diego. So anyway, back to the story. So the chat window here is the eelgrass, and this is the sand, and we're talking about Mission Bay and my experience of diving the bay and how that can be used for fishing for spotties and halibut, guys. So yeah, the fish will be there, and then if, for example, this is the chat. We'll do if there's like any kind of indent in the eelgrass, like right there. That will usually mean there's something there ready to pounce because it's a difference, right? Or also a point that sticks out. There'll be like fish kind of queued up there to ambush any kind of bait. If you're looking for bait, if you see bait, that's good. If you see bait around structure like that or like transitions like that, it's even better. Same thing if you guys are fishing the rocks. So the rocks are here, and that's the sand. Again, they're going to be kind of staged up here on top of rocks, facing out that way. So yeah, depending on the current, right? So that's another factor. But that's what I've seen myself, personal experience underwater, Mission Bay. That should help you guys that are fishing the bay to get more fish. Throw a surface iron in the harbor for perch. Yeah, that works too. That's awesome. That's awesome. But so the let's see, halibut transitions. Yeah, cool. All right, cool. So making sure I get that. Making sure I covered. Oh yeah, that's the other thing I was trying to. This is what I was trying to remember. With spotted bay bass, I've noticed that they hang out in groups. They won't be suspended in the water like calicos are, but they'll be on the floor in the eelgrass, where the eelgrass goes from sand to eelgrass, of course, close to the transition. And once you find a couple, they'll be in a group. They'll be in groups, and they'll be about, each one of them will have its own little kind of area. It's not a bed. It's more like I guess like a presence thing, right? Uh, it'll all be eelgrass, and they'll be about, depending on the size of the fish, maybe 2 or 3 feet around it, where there's no other fish, and then outside of that, you'll start to see other fish, so with each their own little 3 or 4 foot area of influence, I guess you can say, right? And then how you can use that when you're fishing, especially shore fishing, or it's hard to do on the kayak because you're always drifting around and stuff. If you could anchor, that'd be good and cool. So drop an anchor. But if you're shore fishing and you're casting to a certain spot and you get bit, pull that fish in, of course, and take a picture and do what you got to do. Where do you usually launch from Mission Bay? Right now, I've been launching a lot from the boat ramp at Dana Landing, but I've launched from you pretty much can launch from anywhere there's a beach. So that's the cool thing about fishing Mission Bay. So what I was saying about the spotted bay bass is they'll be grouped up in the eelgrass, and so if you catch a fish, make sure you at least try to cast on that spot one more time because you might get bit again. They're always, from what I've seen, there's not like a isolated one. There'll be like groups of 3 or 4 or 5. And here's the other thing, which kind of sucks, but this is why, like, when I first started fishing, I didn't think about it until I went back and actually thought about it. When I was shore fishing, I shore fished this whole little section of Mission Bay, this whole little inlet, I guess you call it, a little cove. And there was actually dove. I was diving there. I was looking for halibut, and I pretty much snorkeled the whole thing all the way around, and I didn't see any fish. I didn't see any halibut. I didn't see any spotted bay bass. And then up until I got to this one little area that had, of course, grass and a nice little drop off, I found a bunch of spotted bay bass, and they were just kind of hanging out, and they were close to each other in that little space. So that whole area was about, I don't know, I'd say like a 20 by 30 foot rectangle, held all the spotted bay bass in that whole bay at that depth because I knew I had done the whole little cove, so I saw what was out there, and yeah. So when you're short fishing, you gotta just cover as much ground as possible and try to find that color change in the water so you can see where the grass meets the sand, and cast in those spots. If you don't get bit, I would just keep kind of moving on. But if you get bit, fish that spot a couple more times. Maybe you'll be able to pull out some more fish out of there, and then change the bait up a little bit so you can get the ones that didn't get tricked by the first bait. So that's the advice I can give you guys that are fishing in San Diego from shore. I fished the slips in King Harbor, and there's a ton of 9 to 6 yeah, mackerel. But I think that, oh, definitely, they definitely feed on that. If you have a bait that matches that I guess they call it matching the hatch, that matches that bait, you can probably. That's the thing, you want to mimic the way it dies, right? So this is from what I think, and maybe Jimmy can jump in here too and add a little bit of color to this. But so the way I think of it is, if they're not actively hunting those bait fish, if they're not running, like, from personal experience from being in the water, when you're spearfishing, you're in the water and you can see all the bait, right? And bait being around is a good sign, but also you have to look at that too, like bait being around and just kind of like hanging out, being like sluggish, not really like just hanging out. It's good to see bait, but it's not that good to see sluggish bait. You want to see bait that's like darting around and like trying to get away from something, because that tells you that there's something currently hunting them, right? So when we spearfish, we're looking for the ripples in the water where the bait fish are getting pushed up by the predators, and they're kind of trying to escape by getting as close to the surface as possible, right? And you see the birds jumping on that. So that's why you look at birds and bait. So you want active bait, you want scared bait, frightened bait. So if you see that, you could probably fish something that's gonna be in that same depth range as those baits, or something that looks like those baits and is gonna sink like those baits would sink if they were dying or wounded, right? And that'll probably get scooped up. So I hope that helps. I fished a slip in King Harbor. Okay, so cool. I see another comment popped up by Colby. There it goes. I fish 3-inch swim baits and get fish, but I never seen anyone throw any bigger. Okay, so you're probably getting little. You're probably catching the little. I call them the scupper hole release fish, right? And it's really what it comes down to is how many bites do you want to get, right? Do you want to get? Are you looking to get a bunch of bites and just have the fun of like catching a fish? And if so, fish the smaller baits, right? Or do you want to get? Are you looking for like your personal best, right? Like a bigger fish. Of course, bigger fish eat bigger baits, right? So you would then throw a bigger bait, but understand that it's more likely for you to get skunked since there's less fish that size that are willing to eat that big a bait. That makes sense. That's a good way to look at it. And in that was kind of my thing too. It's like I kind of want to get bit, but at the same time, you do want to get like that big fish. So um, it depends. Like if you're just going to get bites and you want to get as many bites as possible, I'd go with like a little. Cool. Yeah. So that's my advice on that. Hope that helps. Excuse me, guys. Let me get a quick drink of water. I think my throat's drying up. Hey guys, so now that I have a couple of you guys in here, do me a favor and share this broadcast if you can. It would be much appreciated. I think I'm going to end up having to wrap it up soon without hitting that 500 subscriber mark, which I'm okay with because I actually had fun hanging out with you guys, and this is pretty exciting. Um, I'm kind of stoked to get this live stream under my belt and have it as another skill set and learning how to do the actual broadcast here. So it's been really fun. If you guys have any more questions, or you guys want to do some shout outs, let's do some shout outs. Yeah, let's do some shout outs for now. So Psychotic Edits, I'm assuming you're out of San Diego. Welcome. If you guys want to go follow Psychotic Edits, check out his channel. Also, Raw Fishing Jimmy. Jimmy's actually putting out a lot of videos and like he's just been slaying those largemouth bass, and he does a ton of fun, entertaining videos. So if you're into fishing, kayak fishing, Jimmy's your guy. Raw Fishing, check him out. And then Dine, I'm not sure, I haven't checked out your channel, but Dine, thank you for jumping on here and taking the time to actually watch this stuff and comment. So follow you guys, check out Dine's channel. And Colby, I'm not. I think you have a couple of videos out, Colby. I can't remember, but check out Colby too. Okay, spinner baits. Ooh, spinner baits are I'm trying to think if I've ever actually caught a fish on spinner bait. I think I might have. Let's just put it this way: I've lost more spinner baits than I've caught fish on spinner baits. All right, so I've lost at least 3 or 4 spinner baits, and part of that was because I was using like the wrong kind of line, kind of the whole learning process and stuff. But spinner baits, I hear they're good for covering a ton of water, and for when it's windy and overcast, because you can pull the spinner bait really close to the surface, and it's hard for the fish to tell what it is, and all they're seeing is the blades and the flash. So they'll go like and do what's called what is it? Help me out here. So reactive strike. Yeah, it's a reactive strike or something. So it's just like their instincts kick in, and they get overwhelmed by the stimulation of the flash that they just want to like pounce on it. Especially when it's cloudy and windy, it's hard for them to see the bait against the surface. And you want to I guess burn it, which is what they call it. You want to pull it really close to the surface, almost to like you were seeing a wake on the surface. And then every once in a while, kind of like either slow down and just like quick, like a real quick hesitation, and then real some more. And you're only doing that maybe once per cast. And again, as close to the surface as possible when it's windy and it's overcast. And then I've heard of some people that even use the spinner bait to like bang up against the bottom, which is kind of cool. I haven't tried that yet. I'm kind of afraid to lose another one. But yeah, so the way that, for example, let's see. Ooh, perfect. Cool. All right. My channel is old when perfect, perfect. All right, cool. So for I was talking to Offrun over at Warbaits, and I was asking him about spinner baits, right? And because I had bought it's like a 1 ounce spinner blade, so it's like a 1 ounce spinner bait, and the thing is big and heavy, and I figured I'd want it in the toolbox in case. Yeah, right, Jimmy. So I don't know. It might be a big reward, I guess, if you get a big fish on a spinnerbait, but I'm not sure. It's kind of one of those things. It's like a super specific bait, and so I have this 1 ounce war baits one. It's like a spinnerbait. It's huge, and I was thinking maybe it's something I would throw like if I went to like a Catalina Island trip or something like that, right? And I was talking to Offrod, and he said like, no, you can throw that in Mission Bay. And I was like, wow, it's not like overkill. It's not. It's huge. But I guess it's not, because the way it works is I would throw that if I wanted the spinner blade to actually go through the water at a deeper level, right? So if you're fishing at 8-10 feet, you check the thing out there, you wind it in kind of semi fast, and it'll actually be doing its thing uh, at the right level, right above the eelgrass. If you like when you're fishing those eelgrass patches, so that's kind of cool. I guess that's the way that fish will like jump up and get it out of the eelgrass. So that's kind of fun. Uh, that's what she said. That's so funny. That's something back to spinnerbait. That's hilarious. That is hilarious. That's funny, guys. All right. I actually feel my voice getting tired, which is crazy. If you guys have any other questions, pop them up. I'm actually gonna get ready to get going because I'm gonna go to do this East County bait and tackle um, tournament, and it's a night tournament, so it should be it should be crazy. I actually bought a couple of lights for my kayak already. They're loom cubes. Here's the actual box. I didn't unbox it, but I haven't put it out yet. But loom cube, I got a pair. They're like waterproof, and you can actually dive with them too. So I'll probably use them on my underwater camera. Those are going to be what I'm going to be messing around with today or tonight during during the vlog of making this going to this tournament. So it should be kind of fun. That's what she said. All right. So all right, guys. I think I'm going to end the broadcast in a little bit. So thank you for jumping on here and commenting. This is cool. I'll probably do a couple more of these down the road. That is tonight. Yep, that's tonight. It starts at, I think they're leaving from the shop at 4 p.m. And I forget the lake, actually. I'm terrible at this kind of stuff. But I'm just going to go meet them at the shop, hang out at the shop, do some videos of the shop. I want to do some videos against the wall of large swim baits. Jimmy, do you fish swim baits? Do the big ones? Those, like again, and this is for Colby. Like when you're fishing little baits, you're gonna get little fish consistently. But when you fish big baits, like big swim baits, especially for largemouth and stuff, you're gonna get the nice big fish. But it's gonna be once in the blue moon that you even get bit. I've been wanting to do some comps, but still have a lot to learn. Dude, the best way to learn is to do comps. Don't go into a competition thinking, all right, if I'm not gonna win first place, I'm not gonna participate. No, 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 no. The whole point is so that you can just come up with your own strategy, go and try to win, of course. And if you don't win, no big deal. Pay attention to who won, get to know that person, and see what they're doing. Right? That's gonna be the best way to learn. And actually, you can actually see it's the best way to get a ton of people to try things for you that you know will not work, right? So does that make sense? And it's going to accelerate your learning game so fast. For example, you go to a tournament and there's 20 people fishing, 20 people fishing the same area, right? Keep an eye on what they're fishing with, like what lures they're using, what areas they're in, right? And then it's basically they're doing all the recon for you, even if they don't know it, right? And then of course pay attention to who wins, how they won, and then go up to them after the event and say, hey, what'd you get them on? And and was what depth were you at, and because you know a lot of the conditions already. You know if it was windy, you know if it was sunny, you knew if it was cold, you know all that stuff. But try to get the information from the guys that came in first, second, third, that they're willing to give up, right? Not necessarily the spot, but yeah, it's a good way for you to do recon on somebody else's dam, I guess. So think of it that way. So think of it that way. Think of a tournament as a learning opportunity, as a class, right? You're getting schooled by all these people, but you're really learning uh, what works and what, especially what doesn't work, right? So that'll save you having to try that in those conditions, right? So that should be a good help for you there. Dan's back. Yeah, Dan. That wall of bait catches more fishermen than fish. Good luck, shit. Yeah, that's funny. That's hilarious. That's true. That's true. That wall is sweet. I'm gonna do some videos. I'm gonna do some a video tomorrow with that in the background. That'd be kind of fun. Yeah. So fishing large swim baits. Who else fishes large swim baits? I think Jimmy. I haven't looked through all of your videos yet, but I'm not sure if you're into the large swim bait game yet. But it's a whole other beast. It's a whole other setup, and it is more expensive. But it's fun. It's fun to catch this big fish. Like the thing about largemouth bass fishing, guys, is like when I first started, uh, I didn't realize that the fish I was catching were like actually big fish, right? Now I'm catching fish and like they're way smaller than my first and second and third fish. So it's kind of like I got spoiled right off the bat and didn't get to work up to the big fish. But now it's like at least I have like the nice pictures and the first catch videos, so that's kind of cool. Uh, I might do the next week in Mission Bay. Okay, good, cool. That's gonna be a fun event. Those guys, the Salty Crew guys, know they're always doing cool things. I think this is their first real event, and it should be fun. Like tons of people are gonna be there, families are gonna be there, and I'm gonna try to make the drive back from Lake Mead in time to show up to that event. So I'll see you there. That'd be kind of fun. Hit me up. I'm not gonna ask you for your real name here if you don't want to give it, but just let me know that you're psychotic addicts when I see you there in person. That'd be cool. Let's see, 7 inch in the kelp. Nice. Yeah. So fishing a 7 inch like swim bait in the kelp is a good idea. Um, I even go bigger, just because it's out there. You're on the kelp. It's part of the pelagic food chain, right? So you want to catch the bigger fish if you want to catch bigger fish, right? Um, by the way, my neighbor just caught a 26-inch halibut. Ah, that's cool. Uh, hook and line, Dan, if that's cool. Hook and line, or was he diving? Let's go. Let's go look for that 26-inch halibut's friend. That'd be cool. Yeah. So anyway, all right, guys. We'll talk to you guys soon. Look for tomorrow's video. Again, it's gonna be through the night, so the competition starts at like around 4 or 5. We're gonna be yeah. So the competition starts at 5, I think, or I'm not sure, guys. We're gonna leave East County Bait and Tackle at 4 o'clock, and we're gonna go to the lake. And sorry, I don't remember the lake. And then we're gonna go to after that the awards or the weigh-ins, the final weigh-ins for the whole event are gonna be at 2 a.m. tonight. So it's gonna be an all-nighter, and so I might make the video tomorrow that will cover the whole event. And then I also have to get on the Anyway, it's gonna be a fun week. Stay tuned. Thanks again for jumping on here. Thanks, bro, for all my questions. Yeah, no worries, Colby. Anytime. If I'm not on the live stream, Colby, you can always email me, roman@romancastro.com, with your questions. If you want to go diving, if you want to go fishing, if you want to learn diving, let me know. And again, thanks everybody. Okay, so it's all right, guys. Nice. All right, so let's do the branding thing on the screen so it looks pretty sweet. Let me go back to the regular view, take down the chat. Boom. This is for Dan. Dan, I'm kind of trying to make this work, so here we go. All right, guys. Thank you for joining. I'll talk to you guys soon. See you guys tomorrow with another vlog from this crazy week. Peace.